We live in a time where it's cool to be evil. And if you are speaking the truth, then you are considered lethal. Dang. Please do not let them deceive you. The Most High is coming back soon with vengeance and wrath for the evil. I do not care if they kill me. You see, 'cause my soul is immortal. The money and gold not important. The Most High restoring the order. I pray for your sons and your daughter. For real.
Hey, what's good, party people? So today I got a little time. I wanted to get into the 12 tribes of Yasharel. How did we get 12? And there's so much terminology out there. Just looking at this picture, half the kingdom is only the kingdom of Israel, right? And then this half is the kingdom of Judah. So do they both make up the house of Israel together? Is it just them up here, the northern tribes? Who are Hebrews? Who aren't? Who are these Jakes? Everybody's talking about all these different terminology. I just wanted to do a recording and break this down a little bit. So hopefully it's not too confusing, because it can get pretty deep, but I'm gonna try to just keep it somewhat shallow today. So okay, so first things first, the 12 tribes come from 12 sons of Yaakov, or Jacob. Okay, so it's Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Jacob's the son of Isaac. He has 12 sons, okay, not including Dinah, who was his daughter. But these sons became the patriarchs of the tribes. So that's how we get the 12 tribes. However, here, this really shows that what eventually would happen. The kingdom would be torn after there's a civil war, nearly, I guess, and after that, it's two kingdoms: the northern kingdom and then the southern kingdom. So we find that out. Let's see. Yeah. So it starts with Solomon. So I'm gonna go into 1 Kings 11. Okay, so 1 Kings chapter 11 verse 1. But King Solomon loved many foreign women, as well as the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Sidonians, and Hittites, from the nations of whom Yah had said to the children of Yasharel, "You shall not intermarry with them, nor they with you. Surely they will turn away your hearts after their Elohim." Solomon clung to these in love, and he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. For it was so, when Solomon was old, that his wives turned his heart after other Elohim, and his heart was not loyal to Yah, his Elohim, as was the heart of his father David. So that pretty much sums, the beginning of the fall here. Okay, Solomon, he was filming these women, and they all served their own Elohim according to the nations that they came from, right? And so eventually he gave in to that. So I'm going to drop down to verse 9. So Yah became angry with Solomon because his heart had turned from Yah, Elohim of Yasharel, who had appeared to him twice and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other Elohim. But he did not keep what Yah had commanded. Therefore Yah said to Solomon, "Because you have done this, and have not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded you, I will surely tear the kingdom away from you and give it to your servant. Nevertheless, I will not do it in your days for the sake of your father David. I will tear it out of the hand of your son. However, I will not tear away the whole kingdom. I will give one tribe to your son for the sake of my servant David, and for the sake of Jerusalem, which I have chosen. So, talk about riding your dad's coattails. Solomon messed it up, but he was still shown mercy because of his father's righteousness. So, that's pretty awesome. But ultimately, let's see. Oh, it already says that he's going to leave him one tribe. Let's see. But I will give one tribe to your son for the sake of my servant David. So, since David was of the tribe of Judah, it's already hinting that Judah will be the one that will stay within the lineage, right? David, Solomon, and then his son. Okay, so next chapter. All right, I'm going to start at verse 18. It says, Then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was in charge of the revenue, but all Yasharel stoned him with stones, and he died. Okay, so it's already hot in the streets. This poor guy. Therefore, King Rehoboam mounted his chariot in haste to flee to Jerusalem. So Yasharel has been in rebellion against the house of David to this day. Now it came to pass, when all Yasharel heard that Jeroboam had come back, they sent for him and called him to the congregation and made him king over all Yasharel. Okay, so that's where we get this. So they're saying, what was his name, Jeroboam? Yeah, okay, so when all Yasharel heard that Jeroboam had come back, they sent for him and called for him to the congregation and made him king over all Yasharel. So now Jeroboam is king over the northern tribes. There was none who followed the house of David but the tribe of Judah only, just as the Most High said, right? And when Rehoboam came to Jerusalem, Rehoboam is the king, that's the son of Solomon. So he's king over Judah. He assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin. So they got the tribe of Benjamin to stand with Judah as well. So it's just those two tribes now. 180,000 chosen men who were warriors to fight against the house of Yasharel, that he might restore the kingdom to Rehoboam the son of Solomon. But the word of Elohim came to Shemaiah the man of Elohim, saying, Speak to Rehoboam the son of Solomon, king of Judah, to all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the rest of the people, saying, Thus says Yah, You shall not go up nor fight against your brethren, the children of Yasharel. Let every man return to his house, for this thing is from me. Therefore they obeyed the word of Yah and turned back according to the word of Yah. So again, consistency. He had to tell him, no, this is from me. Discipline from what King Solomon had done. Okay, so if we go to 2 Chronicles 11. Okay, and I'm going to start in verse 13. And from all their territories, the priests and the Levites, who were in all Yasharel, took their stand with him. Oh, I guess I got to go back a little bit. Okay, so Rehoboam dwelt in Jerusalem. And remember, this is the king of Judah, of the house of Judah, and built cities for defense in Judah. And he built Bethlehem, Etam, Tekoa, Bethzer, Sako, Adullam, Gath, Mareshah, Ziph, Adaraim, Lachish, Azekah, Zorah, Ajalon, and Hebron, which are in Judah and Benjamin, fortified cities. And he fortified the strongholds and put captains in them, and stores of food, oil, and wine. Also in every city he put shields and spears and made them very strong, having Judah and Benjamin on his side. And from all their territories, the priests and Levites who were in all Yasharel took their stand with him. Okay, so him being Rehoboam. For the Levites left their common lands and their possessions and came to Judah and Jerusalem. Okay, so remember, in all the land of Yasharel, okay, it was actually sectioned off according to each tribe. So each tribe had a certain portion of this land. Let me see if I can get another image with it. Okay, so this is this shows the territories of the tribes. Okay, now Simeon was actually in Judah, literally, but during this whole split, they sided with the northern tribes too, and so they left. But notice that there isn't a designated land for Levi. Okay, the Levites, they had designated portions in each of the territories, okay, but they didn't have like a specific sectioned off territory for themselves. So they were all they lived all through all the lands of the tribes until this point here. So he's saying, for the Levites left their common lands and their possessions and came to Judah and Jerusalem, for Jeroboam, all right, that's the king of the northern tribes, and his sons had rejected them from serving as priests to Yah. Okay, so remember that the Most High assigned the Levites as priests. So he is directly rebelling against Yah. That is a terrible sign. I mean, there's other terrible signs for Jeroboam as well. Let me see. Okay, so 2 Kings 17. Okay, if you go through this whole chapter, it breaks down the sins of the northern kingdom, and that they got conquered and taken into Assyria. Okay, and if you cross-reference this chapter, it's too much to go into for a short study, but I'm just letting you know for those who have the time or want some homework. But cross-reference this chapter with Isaiah 7, because Isaiah 7 is revealed that the northern kingdom had conspired with Syria. Okay, so they conspired with an outside nation against the house of Judah. And remember that they are all related. Like, they're all Israelites. And so that is like the ultimate betrayal. So when you understand that from Isaiah 7, that the house of Yasharel had conspired with another nation to try and conquer their own brethren, then it makes more sense when the Assyrian Empire comes in, conquers Yasharel, and Judah does not help them. So anyway, you can take a look at that on your own, but yeah, it completely breaks down exactly why the house of Yasharel, or the northern tribes, fell. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so next time we see the house of Yasharel is in 2nd Esdras 13. Okay, I'm going to start at verse 39. So it says, as to the fact that you saw him. Okay, so just some background. And I brought this up in some other videos, I think, too. But this is Ezra, one of Ezra's books, okay? And he had a vision and he didn't understand it. And so there's an angel there that explaining the vision to him. And so in verse 39, it says, "As to the fact that you saw him collecting to himself another peaceful multitude, these are the 10 tribes that were taken captive from their land in the days of King Hoshea, whom King Shalmaneser of the Assyrians took across the river as a captive." Okay, so that's exactly leaving off from 2 Kings 17. So that's where 2 Kings 17 ends with them being captured, and then you don't really hear from the 66 books in the Eurocentric canon. You don't really hear from the northern tribes again. But if you look into Ezra here is going to give some information. Okay, so they were taken into another land, but they made this plan for themselves. They would leave the multitude of the nations and go into a more remote region where the human race had never lived. There they would be able to observe their customs, which they hadn't kept in their own region. They went in through the narrow passages of the Euphrates River. Then the Most High gave them signs and stopped the flow of the river until they had passed. They made a long journey through that region for a year and a half, and that region is called Arzareth. They lived there until the last time, and now they begin again to return. The Most High will once again stop the flow of the river so that they can cross. These people make up the multitude gathered in peace, along with those who are left of your people who are found within my holy boundaries. Okay, so there's a lot to dissect through here, but in this case, I really just want to focus that they went to a specific place. Like clearly, it had never been inhabited by humans wherever they went. So all that to say is that the northern tribes, their dispersion, or I guess a better term would be banishment. Their banishment from the land. Okay, now remember, all Israel, okay, all the children of Jacob have been banished from our land. But their banishment, they must have stuck together and went to a place, as opposed to the Jews, where the Jews got dispersed into all nations. Okay, and if you that's why in Isaiah 11, if you look at this, Isaiah 11 verse 12, it says, "He will set up a banner for the nations and will assemble the outcasts of Yasharel and gather together the dispersed of Judah." Okay, but Yasharel's dispersed too, right? No, I mean they are, but their dispersion is different. They didn't go into all nations the way that the house of Judah did. Okay, so that's why it's written like this. Okay. So, to summarize, I guess I don't need that anymore. So to summarize, the northern tribes, okay, make up the house of Yasharel, the house of Israel, okay, and the house of Judah is made up of 3 main tribes, okay, or 3 tribes: the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Okay, so those 3 tribes, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, make up what the term that we call the Jews. So that's why you get that term Jews. That's coming from the house of Judah, okay, and then it's made up of those 3 tribes from the breakdown when that initial split happened. Okay, I want people to remember that, or to know that, because there's so much talk about the Jews, but just remember that the Jews are just 3 tribes of the whole house of Jacob. So there are the rest of the tribes, the northern tribes, that a lot of people don't ever really talk about, and I just wanted to mention that going over this. So here's the house of Israel, which equals the northern tribes, okay, and these northern tribes are all Israelites, They're children of Jacob, children of Jacob. Okay, so Reuben, Simeon, Gad, Dan, Ephraim, Manasseh, Issachar, Zebulun, Naphtali, and Asher. Okay, and then the house of Judah, which equals the southern tribes. Okay, or some people say south side, equals Jews. Okay, which are also Israelites, which are also children of Jacob. Judah, Benjamin, Levi. Okay. Now, some people may notice there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it just depends on how you are counting the tribes, because Ephraim and Manasseh are sometimes lumped together as the tribe of Joseph. Okay, so if we put in Joseph here, then it's 12 tribes. So anyway, I don't want to get into all that, but so depending on how people break down these tribes, it can look like it's 13, but it just depends on whether or not people are breaking down the half tribes between Ephraim and Manasseh. So hopefully that was helpful. So with these southern tribes, that's what you see with the migration into Africa from first century. Okay, so first century is where Jerusalem falls, right? From 66 to 73 AD. That's that war between the Jews and the Romans. 70 AD, Jerusalem falls. From then on, you have these dispersions going into Africa, from the Jews going into exile. Okay, and eventually, 1,500 years later, they're found in West Africa and in East Africa, going into the slave trade, the transatlantic on the west side, and then the Arabic on the east side of Africa. So all those are coming out of the house of Judah. Okay, and I don't want to get too much into this. I guess this could be like, it really could be an advanced whole study on its own, but I'll just mention this as well. If you look at, and I can't remember the passage right now, but I'll probably put it in the description or something. But you'll see when the Jews are coming out of their Babylonian captivity, that there was like a remnant of the northern tribes that they didn't go with the rest of their tribes when they initially migrated away from Assyria. And so though that remnant ended up meeting up with the Jews in the Babylonian captivity, and some of them came back down. They came back into the land of Yasharel with the Jews after that 70-year period. Okay, so it is possible to have some of the northern tribes in Africa as well. Anyway, that's for another study, a more advanced study. All praises to the Most High Yah and to the Lion of Yahudah. Peace.